Hello, this is Dan Mish, Director of Retirement Services for VectorVest, and I'm pleased to be with you this week to present the Strategy of the Week. I have some pretty amazing news to share with you this week. I've spent over 18 years as both an advisor and instructor in financial services, and the overwhelming thing that every investor is looking for is an easy-to-understand trading plan that consistently makes money with a low drawdown. Sounds great, right? People are always searching for the holy grail of investment techniques. What I have to show you today can drastically change the way you look at stocks. We are going to play an all-new birthday game this week to show you this method. And if you're unfamiliar with what the birthday game is, you can revisit the Strategy of the Week from December the 11th of 2015. In there, Ms. Kathy Onan gave you the opportunity to win a free month of service from VectorVest if you won the game. All of this is meant to fulfill that overwhelming desire for simple, effective trading systems. What Kathy showed was that by using the power of our master indicator, VST, combined with a random start date, your birthday, you could beat the market more times than not. The response was fantastic, and what it showed us was that 1, you guys like to play games, especially when there's some dollars on the line, as we did have some winners. And 2, our system is very powerful and does in fact outperform the market. So this week we will make a few changes to the rules for the birthday game and give you guys another chance to win. The first change is that we are giving you folks a lot more time to test your birth date and play the game. Instead of limiting ourselves to the past 3 years as Kathy did, we are going to give you the past 20 years. That's right. We will give you the chance to begin as far back as 1996 and run tests. This graphic here is what the overall market as measured by our VectorVest composite has done during that time. The other change is to rely on the sole power of relative safety, or RS. This component of the VST ranking is an indicator of risk. It is cast on a scale from 0 to 2. So a stock with an RS rating of greater than 1.0 is safer and more predictable than the average stock in the VectorVest database. VectorVest favors the purchase of stocks of companies with consistent, predictable financial performance. And there are the key words: consistent, predictable. Those are the two things we look at across the board in assessing the RS. So how do we do that? The single most important factor in assessing stock safety is quantifying the probability that their quarterly earnings will meet investors' expectations. So if a company has a well-established record of consistent, predictable earnings performance, it's much more likely to meet the market's expectations. And the company size. It's true that stocks of large companies generally are safer than those of smaller companies. Now, size is not nearly as important to an equity investor as knowing where the company's earnings are heading. But we have to look at price behavior. Absolute price behavior not only provides an unequivocal measure of volatility, but it allows one to assess the risk in relation to the stock's price history. And longevity. You may have heard the saying before that it's better to deal with the devil you know than with the one you don't. So all factors being equal, there's less risk in dealing with a company with a long track record than one which is brand new. We do look at the dividend history. Now, a company doesn't have to pay a dividend to be a very safe stock, but if it does pay a dividend, it must maintain or increase that dividend without exception. And we take into account the debt-to-equity ratio. You should beware of companies with excessive debt. A company that can't report positive earnings after interest and tax payments is in big trouble no matter how you slice it. Safe stocks belong to companies with low debt-to-equity ratios. So what we will do in the new birthday game is sort all of the stocks by RS. And so those are our changes to the game. more time to play, and a new way to sort stocks and prove the effectiveness of our indicators. Once I show you how the game works and how you can play, I will demonstrate that this power is nothing new here at VectorVest. As a matter of fact, those definitions of the terms on your screen are excerpts from our founder, Dr. DeLito's book, Stocks, Strategies, and Common Sense. And in particular, with what we teach in the Retirement Services Department, we have always had and will continue to promote the effectiveness of strong RS stocks. So I will show you just a few places where the RS shows up in VectorVest. First, let's play the game and explain the rules. What we're going to do is go to the stock viewer, and we're going to sort all those stocks by RS. Then we'll open the calendar, and you can begin as far back as 1996, but you could choose any year from 1996 to 2014 to begin your testing. Whatever year you choose, just select your month and date of birth. And if it happens to be a holiday or a weekend, just use the next business day. You then will quick test the top 20 stocks up to the closing date of 12/31 of 2015. So for those of you playing at home, when you get into the VectorVest program, as you see on your screen, make sure you are in the Viewers tab and select Stock Viewer. The stocks that come up will originally be sorted by VST. Simply come over to the column labeled RS and click right on the gray header, and now all the stocks are listed in descending order. Now all I have to do is open this date calendar, and you can click on the month and the year, and click on the year again, and you will see how you can arrow your way back to that very beginning date in 1996. And I'll go back and choose my birthday, August the 13th, and click OK. So here are the stocks ranked by RS 20 years ago on my birthday. Now what you want to do is open up your quick test button and dial that number up to 20. And then you just click right there and it will run the test for you. Now it will originally bring the test all the way to current. So simply click on the calendar up in the upper left hand corner, change your date back to 12/31 of last year, click OK at the bottom, and then up at the top of your quick test window, just run the test again. I'll make this full size, and I will sort them by percentage price change. And you can see that overall these 20 stocks have gone up 296% since that time. And take a look at our top winner. Wouldn't you have loved to have bought Sherwin-Williams at $23? Since it closed on December 31st, just below 260. Now, in order to take the test forward, you can simply open the date calendar and begin going through year by year. I will jump us forward 10 years and go to August the 13th. Oh, there's not an August the 13th, right? Because it was a Sunday. So here I just begin my test on the 14th. By clicking OK, the stocks are still ranked by RS, and now when I click the Quick Test button, it will hold on to that final date of 12/31, and you can see overall here, this basket of 20 stocks, I have an average gain of 94%. So those 2 years are winners for me. And I actually went through and did this test for myself. So I tested all 19 years that were available to me, and here are the results. The first 10 years of my test were amazing. All positive returns, only 1 year not in triple digits, and overall this is an average of 161%, or 16% per year. And remember, all these tests are from my birthday until the end of last year. And the next 9 years of tests were also great results, with an average of 75% total returns since 2006. And you can see I did have 1 year where the returns were negative, and that was the final run in 2014. So congratulations to me. I have 1 month of extra service coming to me from VectorVest. Our friend and manager of research, Mr. Todd Schaefer, put this RS sort to the test in the simulator and variator tools that we offer, and he came up with some incredible results. He reached back as far as he could, which was May 13th of 1996, and ran these tests every day using the top 20 stocks as sorted by RS until December 31st of 15, with the last test beginning on December 31st of 2014, giving us a total of 4,697 runs. Of those, the winning run percentage was 98.38%. And out of all the trades placed, our winning trades percentage was 76.6%. We had an average gain of nearly 108% and an average annual rate of return of 10.72. So there are roughly 250 trading days in a year, sometimes more, sometimes less. But what this data is telling us that out of 4,697 days, there are only 76 in the past 20 years that do not make money. So here are the rules of the game, which I will show again as we near the end of this presentation. You can win a 1-month extension of your base VectorVest subscription if you have a birthday which does not make money. All submissions must be emailed to thebirthdaygame@vectorvest.com. We ask that you attach proof of your date of birth, the month and day, and your deadline for entry is January 29th, so just till the end of this month. And you can cover up and hide any personal information. We're not trying to collect that data. We just want to verify that you were born on that month and day. Send that over to thebirthdaygame@vectorvest.com. Now, as I said, using RS is not a new idea or method. Let me show you a few ways you can use RS in our program. I'll stay right here in the Viewers tab, and just below the Viewers we have the Watch List section, and I'll open up Dividend Payers. Now, I told you how important dividends are for the relative safety, and we have a list in here called DRIP 25 plus years. These are companies that have increased their dividend payment for at least the last 25 years in a row. And when you look at some of the names that are in here, you should be very familiar with the majority of them, and of course some of them have been increasing their dividend for many more years than even the past 25. However, we currently have 105 stocks in this watch list that we keep for you. And if you let your eyes move over to where the relative safety is, you can see they all have very good to excellent RS ratings. As a matter of fact, down on the bottom of this list, in the watch list average, you can see out of all 105 stocks, the average RS rating is 1.06. So you know when you're selecting stocks from this list, you're selecting from a good list of candidates. We of course also bake RS into our searches, which can be found in the Unisearch tab. Now, as I said, I'm the Director of Retirement Services, so I'm going to steer you guys right to Searches Retirement, and we'll look at a search here called Vector plus Vector 1.25. The RS here is that fourth parameter you see, where the RS must be greater than or equal to 1.25. On top of that, the stocks from this search will be sorted by their VST plus YSG. So that RS, again, is a component of that VST used in the sort. If I open up the Searches Prudent folder, we have a search called Ruler Stocks, where you can see the second parameter down is that these stocks must have a relative safety of at least 1.4. which does put it into that excellent territory. On top of that, the stocks from this search will be sorted by a combination of their RS times the GRT, which is the earnings growth rate, which is a component of the RS itself. We also use RS inside of our Surefire Success portfolio, which is labeled GLB Safe and Sound. The second parameter down tells us the RS must be at least 1.0, so must be in that safe territory. And all of these stocks will be sorted by a combination of their RS times their comfort index. So we do have many ways for you to put this powerful indicator to work for you. Let me take us back and show you all the rules and what you can win. Once again, everything is listed on the screen for you. All your submissions should be sent to thebirthdayGame@VectorVest.com. We will, of course, hold our standard Strategy of the Week question and answer webcast on Monday the 11th at 2:00 p.m. If you should have any questions until then, please call the number on your screen, and thank you for joining us this week.